Okay, hi. My name is Susanna Fleming, and I work with Richard in Oxford. So this is pilot data. I just want to make that absolutely clear before we start out. So it's pilot data on blood pressure monitoring, self-monitoring of blood pressure in workplaces. The reason I'm interested in workplaces is I'm sure you all know that opportunistic screening doesn't catch everybody. The workplace population is younger, so they're likely to have a lower level of hypertension that might be amenable to lifestyle modification. And even if we can just shift everybody a little way towards lower blood pressure, that actually reduces that tail in the high risk quite considerably. So like I said, this is that's counting up. This is a retrospective data analysis. This is from 18 months of data from kiosks in 6 sites in a large UK employer. So we had, in total, we had over 9,000 unique users who made about 34,000 measurements between them. This is data from people who made measurements at approximately 6 months after their first measurement or approximately 12 months after their first measurement. We had no control on when they made them, so I've just looked at those subsets. So what we found is that at both 6 and 12 months from the initial measurement, we're seeing a decrease in blood pressure from the initial measurement. There doesn't seem to be a great change from 6 to 12 months. If you look at the curve of blood pressures over time, it tends to drop in a kind of exponential manner. My main slide is this one, I think. This study has huge limitations. It's pilot data, it's retrospective data, it's completely uncontrolled. All the information I have about these people is their gender and when and what their blood pressure measurement was. So we have found something interesting, but there's lots of things we can't rule out. We can't rule out regression to the mean. So we know that if somebody's baseline blood pressure was high, they're more likely to have made a second measurement and therefore to be in the data set, because obviously I can't look at changes between people if they've only made one measurement. So there's almost certainly some regression to the mean in this data set. We don't know how much. We could be seeing, you know, acclimatization to blood pressure measurement, or we could be seeing some sort of real thing, and we want to do an RCT to see whether this is a real change.
Questions? Rafa?
What would be the real change? So what would be the same mechanisms aren't clear, but what's your hypothesis? What's making this change?
So what we're hoping, so I didn't have time to go into, am I allowed to go back to slide? I didn't have time to go into what this thing does. So it doesn't just measure your blood pressure, it measures your weight, and it gives you advice based on the measurements. So it might say, oh, your weight's a bit high, you might consider doing more exercise, or your blood pressure's a bit high, have you considered changing your diet? And so there is the potential for this to be modifying behaviour. There is also some evidence that measuring blood pressure and weight might actually, in and of themselves, be an intervention to encourage people to change. And because it's in a workplace, potentially peer pressure, but we don't know.
And when did you put the kiosk in the workplace, and how did you advertise?
So I didn't. So this is data that we've been given by the kiosk manufacturer with permission of the employer. So the employers generally put them in as part of a we want our workers to feel that we care about them wellness scheme. In some situations they're putting it in as part of an occupational health kind of overall, and they're using this as screening or just as part of a role in occupational health. I don't know what advertising was done around this one.
Claire, 10 seconds.
So what are you going to do in the RCT? How are you going to randomise by site? Or
By site, yeah. So randomised by site to kiosk or no kiosk.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.